President Bill Clinton defended the Clinton Foundation when he was asked about all of this at a campaign stop in Atlanta. Here's what he said.
I made it clear that if she becomes president, we'll have to do more than we did when she was Secretary of State, because if you make a mistake, there's always appeal to the White House if you're Secretary of State. If you're president, you can't. But we're going to transition all these responsibilities that would require foreign or corporate donations, which I won't accept, and I won't raise money for the foundation if she wins. And I'm happy to do the transition as quickly as we can.
Interesting, right? Radio talk show host and editor-in-chief of Life's Debt, Laura Ingraham, goes on the record tonight. Laura, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to see you.
I thought those comments were quite interesting tonight by Bill Clinton, and I'm curious what you think about them.
Well, they're a little flip, don't you think? Like, oh, well, we're happy to, consider moving responsibilities. And I guess Chelsea would be in charge of the foundation if Hillary becomes president. But it's all kind of beside the point now, isn't it? I mean, they knew she was going to run for president. The foundation was set up to, I'm sure, did some good things. But what we know from just the emails that have been released, Martha, is that you had to pay the Clinton Foundation to meet with Hillary Clinton. I mean, it seems like that was the, open sesame command to get the door open through Huma Abedin. So it looks like that really was the motivation. I mean, if you have to kind of put together the Columbo moments here, that was the motivation for this private email server. Hillary Clinton wasn't worried about yoga schedules or her mother's funeral arrangements not becoming public. Hillary Clinton was clearly shielding what was ultimately influence peddling done through the donations to the Clinton Foundation and arranged through Huma Abedin in the form of meetings with Hillary Clinton. And then, that's not all. Of course, a lot of these donors to the Clinton Foundation, which gave millions and millions of dollars, also helped enrich the Clintons. A lot of people forget that. A lot of these same entities invited Bill Clinton to speak for a huge sum of money. So the Clintons amassed almost, I guess now, $200 million over this period of time where they were running the foundation, and there are a lot of interconnected points with the donors, to the speeches, to the influence peddling at the State Department. Should never have been set up because they always knew that she was going to run for president. And it just, appearance of impropriety, that doesn't begin to tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, even if that were the bar, though, that should be bar enough when you're the Secretary of State. If it even looks like there's an opportunity for people to have influence over you, that ought to be something that you really want to avoid when you're in a government position. And, it strikes me, I mean, Bill Clinton, when he became a former president, former presidents, especially young ones, have to figure out what they're going to do next. So they set up this foundation, which, as you say, was the vehicle, except for maybe some publishing deals, it's the only vehicle by which they became extraordinarily wealthy. So people's taxpayer dollars were going to pay for Hillary Clinton's salary as Secretary of State and support the Clinton family as a former presidential family. And then on the side, at the same time, they were basically building what some would call a foundation and some might call a business.
Well, I mean, what did they do for $200 million? I mean, Trump made a lot of money and he built a lot of buildings. What did they build? Well, they built a machine for influence peddling. And they got a lot of access for a lot of people, a lot of foreign entities, a lot of foreign governments. Remember, you cannot donate directly as a foreign entity or a foreign individual to an American campaign. That is in violation of campaign finance law. But they did it in a different way. They did it through the foundation. She had her private server. They thought it was all going to be locked down. And we have a compliant media, for the most part, that other than the AP, I mean, they weren't looking for these schedules other than the AP. They weren't doing the FOIA requests. Thank God for Citizens United and Judicial Watch and that AP FOIA request. We wouldn't have gotten these. And they've been fighting this, Martha, for years. They did not want this information out. And now Hillary looks like she's in hiding from answering any questions from the press.
Yep, you're so right. And you called on the press at the Republican National Convention to do their job. And it does seem as though there is more intensity on this. I think a lot of people thought when the FBI made the decision that they would not go forward, that was going to be it. But when you see Robbie Mook coming out very passionately defending her husband now doing the same thing, do you think they are concerned about this?
Well, I think they're not going to be that concerned unless the journalists who are supposed to be acting as checks on government power occupy themselves, Martha, with something more important to the American people than whatever Donald Trump happens to be tweeting today. I mean, the focus that they have on destroying Trump, and I'm not saying he's done everything right, but the focus on every minutia and everything. And then this actually goes right to the heart of what we're supposed to expect from public officials who are being paid for by us handling the most sensitive information. But now a burn paper is not in a burn bag. I mean, this stuff is comical. If it weren't our country's national security and the future of our presidency and our country on the line, it would be hilarious. But unfortunately, all of us could, if she wins, live under this scenario where apparently this is all going to be accepted. And, Martha, remember, Hillary Clinton will be able to appoint every prosecutor, every U.S. attorney, write with her friends every regulation, and have a Supreme Court that will not be a check on her. Imagine that world in the United States of America if she has that much power, given what she did as Secretary of State.
Laura, as a Trump supporter, are you pleased with the job that he's doing now, focusing on this?
I think it's smart both for him to say, look, I'm on your side. I'm going to be fighting for the regular Americans who've been shafted in this underperforming economy and at the border and all that. She can't be trusted because during the time when so many of you were suffering, she used her government position to enrich herself and her family. I'll work for you and fight for you. The Clintons have always looked out for themselves, number one. I'm going to do it a different way. I think he has to keep reaching out to minorities. I think he's done a pretty good job so far. I'd go into minority communities and really create the backdrops for more personal interaction with the folks he needs to work on. I think it's been a good turn so far.
He's hearing you, because apparently he's going to be going into some of those inner city areas and communities in the coming days. Laura, thank you. Always good to see you.